Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steven Larson. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw. We're going to be talking about a possible summer break for Roman Reigns. But first, let's hop into this, Larson. We've got a new feud in possibly AEW. Is this going to be a match we're going to see? CM Punk versus Eric Bischoff?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Let's get into it. Let's get into the backstory. Then we can speculate whether a match will happen. So, on a recent episode of Strictly Business, Eric Bischoff spoke about AEW's need to build up their audience amongst casual wrestling fans, and also spoke about CM Punk's statements he made following this year's Full Gear that casual wrestling fans don't exist anymore. So these transcripts come to you from Wrestling Inc. Quote, that's what Eric Bischoff had to say. The casual fan is still out there. If you build it, honest to God, as corny as it sounded, if you build it, your audience will show up. They will. That lapsed fan, that lapsed fan is another term. Sorry, I've heard in a lot of research that I did. I used to watch wrestling, but I don't watch that shit anymore. Sometimes it's just life, your job, your kids, whatever. If anybody's going to try to convince me that you can't find that audience again, they shouldn't be in the wrestling business. All due respect to CM Punk. CM Punk never spent 5 minutes in the television business. He knows a lot more about what's going on in the wrestling ring. He knows a lot about building a character, more than I ever will in terms of executing it. But to make the casual statement that I think the lapsed fan is gone, I don't think they're ever going to come back. What the F are you doing in television business then, dude? It makes no sense to me. I don't believe it's true. So then Punk shot back today on Twitter, responding to a clip, not this clip, but a clip from 83 Weeks, where Bischoff is making the case that this is essentially the analogy Bischoff used. There's 1,000 people. Of those 1,000, 100 will be hardcore wrestling fans, meaning people that watch everything, totally immersed in the world of professional wrestling.
Sure.
Of that 900, there are casual fans. Not all 900, but casual fans exist amongst those 900 who will watch a couple shows, maybe pay-per-views, maybe WrestleMania, something like that. Bischoff's general point is, I'd rather take the time to go after those 900 than to appease the 100. That's the general point in this clip. Punk responded to that saying, quote, wrestling Twitter needs to stop amplifying all the old head, bad faith, bad take, carny dipshits. They had their moment in the sun. Let them die in the dark with their ego podcast quote.
I want to ask your take. What's your take on this first?
One of the first things I thought it's funny, and it's a bit ironic that Eric Bischoff blasts tailoring your product to hardcore fans when arguably the best thing he ever did in the wrestling business, the NWO storyline, initially cater to hardcore wrestling fans, because those are the people who would know who Scott Hall was, who knew who Kevin Nash was, people who watch both WCW and WF. Now, bringing Hogan to the NWO gave it mainstream appeal. I understand that totally. Me personally, I think Eric Bischoff's contribution to the wrestling industry are a tad bit overrated.
Well, focus on a statement, though. What do you think about
I'm getting
what he said?
I'm getting to that. And, you can make the claim that he pretty much drove two companies into the ground, Eric Bischoff. So for him to say, I would rather focus on 900 people I might be able to get to watch my show at the potential expense of the 100 people I know will watch my show, I don't know if that's necessarily sound business either. Now, that's not to say you don't try to appeal to both. You do what you give the 100 people enough to watch on a regular basis. But as we see with AEW and WWE, they try to make appeals to mainstream audiences, to the casual wrestling fan. WWE will bring in legends, people that, the nostalgics, if you will. They'll bring in celebrities to try to get eyeballs in the product with hopes that those people will stick around after that storyline ends. And we've seen AEW do that as well. In this day and age, we've seen those bumps in ratings. I don't know. I haven't done like an analysis of it, whether those bumps in ratings lead to people sticking around after that storyline is over.
There's no way to tell. you can assume. My assumption is this. I'll give you my take. Punk is right in that there are a lot of old head, bad faith takes on Twitter and social media. This ain't one of them. It's not. Because what Bischoff is saying, I'm sorry, is true. Those hardcore fans are going to stick around. You can appease them easily. It's easy to do that. You just air product. I don't know what the ratings for AEW would be without Punk, Danielson, Mox, Jericho, and what's the other big name I'm missing?
Adam Cole, baby.
Adam Cole, right. I don't know what those numbers would be like. I will hazard a guess that it wouldn't be approaching 1 million every week. I just think that draws are draws. You can't tell me that your ratings are still going to be 1 million every week if those household wrestling names the hardcore audience are there. You can't.
No, and I know, but I don't.
Let me finish my take.
Okay.
WWE's Attitude Era kicked off by doing what? Capturing the zeitgeist because of Mike Tyson. That's how I got involved in it. That's how 1 million people did. Bischoff is right. Every time I explain to somebody what I do, I come across a lapsed fan. And 9 times out of 10, that lapsed fan, I always push them to AEW. I'm like, hey, remember when wrestling was cool? They're kind of doing that again. And I think that there are plenty of bad faith takes out there. We see them all the time.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't one of them, and he's not even being disrespectful when he says this stuff.
No, I don't think he necessarily is. But I mean, like the way, if you watch the video that Punk is responding to, Bischoff almost frames it like an either or thing.
And I have not listened to it, so I'll take your word for that.
So I did before we started. And to a certain degree, he seems almost dismissive of the 100 hardcore fans. To a certain degree. And this is something we see in the wrestling business kind of writ large. This isn't something that Bischoff particularly seemingly has his attitude, where you kind of have a bit of resentment towards your most loyal fan.
Well, that's different. You're right about that, but that's different.
It is different. But I mean, in terms of the conversation he was having in this clip, it seemed to be kind of part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of what really I took. That's what I thought. Okay, well, you can't take those 100 fans for granted. I'm not saying you don't go after the 900.
That's
I'm not
true.
saying that at all.
You can't take what you have
don't take those 100 fans for granted, because yes, they're hardcore. As we saw in WCW, you do enough, they will turn the channel too. You know, and I was getting to the point where we've seen WWE bring in celebrities, legends. We see AEW do that. And I'm not saying don't do that. It's not an either or proposition, you know?
Yeah.
You try to appeal to both the best you can. And just the way Bischoff framed it in the video was like, well, I'd rather frame my product to try to get those 900 who might stay tuned on a regular basis rather than worry about the 100. And if you're looking at it strictly as, well, I know those 100 are going to stick around regardless, so I'll do what I can to get 900. Okay, get that. You can't take those 100 for granted. That's my point.
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. And when Bischoff throws lobs at Punk saying he hasn't been in the television business, well,
I'm sorry, Bischoff. Punk wrote 14 weeks of TV for Vince McMahon.
That's debatable. I doubt you can be on Raw for as long as you are. For as long as you are. I'm sorry. I meant Bischoff's statement is debatable, not what you just said. Because he did that.
No, I know.
Punk absolutely wasn't in the television business. Now, was he an executive like Bischoff was? No.
That's what Bischoff's point is that Punk has never been in TV boardrooms with Ted Turner and so on and so forth.
And I think, look, I'm not a massive fan of Bischoff. I think he is what he is. That being said, he did bring WCW, and the Guy Evans Nitro book is a wonderful explainer of it. He did bring WCW to profitability. And yes, totally. He made some errors along the way. And I think the general consensus is that I've come to understand it was more Vince Russo driving WCW into the ground.
Yeah.
And it was the addition of Thunder, who's running Eric Bischoff too ragged, et cetera, et cetera. They really needed to understand that more isn't necessarily better. And that's really what did WCW in. But yeah, I think that popularity capturing the zeitgeist is something that wrestling is always trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think that is by its very nature. When CM Punk first said, because he said this ages ago, that there's no casual fan, that doesn't exist. I disagree completely. I think that people would totally be willing to come back to wrestling in a big way. It's just more difficult these days because entertainment is so much more niche.
It really is.
Capturing the zeitgeist is difficult.
I mean, I think there's a difference between casual fan and lapsed fan.
Yeah,
I think there's a difference. I think there's some people that have like a passing interest in wrestling, and I would wager that those people are out there. I don't know if they're there to the number that maybe they used to be, because there are so many more entertainment options out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different places, so much more variety in terms of what you can watch these days, as opposed to what there was 20, 25 years ago.
There's a lot of competition. Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of competition out there. So even if it's people maybe that maybe are just casually checking out, hey, what's happening with WrestleMania this year? Or they'll flipping through the channels. Oh, WrestleMania is on the pay-per-view. Maybe I'll check that out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Those people are out there, obviously, because I think we've talked to them.
Mm-hmm.
Are they out there to the same number that were years ago? I don't know. I think there are a lot of lapsed fans. I think there's a lot of people that used to watch wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's during the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression era, 3 weeks ago. I don't know. That for whatever reason are burned out, got turned off by the product to some degree. And yeah, you should try to appeal to people who used to watch the product that for whatever reason decided this isn't for me anymore. If you can. But again, not at the expense of people who are going to watch your show.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think like AEW getting stars that WWE's dropped the ball with, I think that's a smart move. I think you are trying to appeal to, look, man, I don't think there's a lapsed fan, a casual fan. I think that it's all shades of fandom, I mean, clearly there's people who watch, there's 292,000 people this past week that watched Rampage, and there's 870,000 or whatever it was that watched Dynamite,
833, I think.
Clearly the 292,000 you would consider more along the lines of hardcore fans, and the people who watched Dynamite that didn't watch Rampage are a bit further on the casual side of things on the whole, spectrum, if you will. So, like, I think that the debate over are there casual fans or lapsed, well, clearly there's lapsed fans. I meet them all the time. Whenever I open my mouth about what I do, nobody watches wrestling anymore.
We're both lapsed. At one point in our life, we're lapsed fans.
Yeah, we were both. And then we came back in, and then just now we have to be hardcore because we're getting paid to be hardcore fans. But, yeah, I think it's a silly thing. You should be trying to capture the audience. And, yeah, you should be going in after, look, you toss Mox and Brian out there, and you give them Lee Moriarty and Dante Martin, you have a match, your hardcore fans are going to be happy about that. You need to be concentrating on growing your business. And one thing AEW can do is try to go, because they're doing something that people perceive as something WWE used to do, that WWE then drove those people away. And AEW said, we have something that's kind of like that. Come back to us. And we've got some names that you might recognize from 2010 or whatever. And Sting, I kind of feel like the 90s,
that approach appeals maybe more to the lapsed fan than the casual fan.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. So, but
another thing to consider too is there's been times where Tony Khan has been critical of how WCW ran their business, and there's been times where Bischoff has kind of responded to that as if he kind of takes offense to that.
Yeah, as well he should. I would. If somebody was like, oh, man, you guys remember how Going in Raw used to be? I mean, shit, man. You and I, we've heard all the time. People, I wish you guys would do it. People to this day, they're on our YouTube channel. You guys go back to the rest. Will you guys ever go back to the gaming stuff? No, we've been doing this for way too long. We have no interest in doing gaming outside of the wrestling stuff for a goof.
And GTA.
And GTA. Like, that's not what we do anymore. So I don't know. Yeah, I get it. Look, man, I'm not trying to say I'm Eric Bischoff's #1 fan. I'm not an Eric Bischoff stan. I'm not a sweaty for Eric Bischoff.
Same here.
In this case, I get where he's coming from. I get what he's saying.
He has a point, but in a large sense, he has a point. But again, I just don't think you go after the 900 maybes at expense of the 100 for sure.
At the expense, no. Should you do both? Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, we're in complete agreement there. Complete agreement there. Yeah. Steve?
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, Lumen. You want to talk skincare?
Yes, obviously. Yeah.
So, I'm sure I'm not the only one who thought that washing your face with the same body wash or soap that you use on the rest of your body was the secret to a quality skincare routine. Well, it turns out I was wrong. That's fiction. It turns out that using that same body wash or soap all these years was actually damaging my skin.
Yeah, man. But with Lumen, you can drop that bottle of 3-in-1 and start using products that actually take care of your skin. Lumen's products aim to help those with stubborn acne scars, under-eye dark circles, wrinkles, sun damage, dry skin, and oily skin. And getting started is easy. All you got to do is take the 2-minute quiz on their website, and they'll tell you which skincare routine is best suited for your needs.
Yeah, I took the quiz and got the anti-fatigue essential set to help with these dark circles I keep getting under my eyes. And it's great that Lumen's products come with instructions, because those of us who are used to just kind of rubbing a bar of soap on our faces and calling it a day will now have easy step-by-step instructions to follow to help protect our skin.
So level up your skincare game with Lumen Skin today. Go to lumenskin.com/raw to get your free trial of Lumen's products.
That's LUMIN skin.com/raw to get your free trial of Lumen's products. lumenskin.com/raw. And before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, Blenders Eyewear. Fresh from the sandy beaches in San Diego, California comes my new favorite sunglasses brand. I'm talking about Blenders Eyewear. Check out these ice crush shades I got to wear my morning walks.
Oh, so
I was out walking this morning. Yeah. And I also wear them out running my errands, and they fit great and look even better.
That's right, man. Blenders founder Chase Fisher started the company to create adventurous, mid-priced eyewear, and Blenders' team of in-house designers continue that philosophy by coming up with new styles, like orange polarized wraparounds. Think like Bret Hart sunglasses, but orange. Check out my Stone Breakers right here, man.
Oh,
look at these guys.
Man,
They also got things like tortoise shell frames with purple lenses. How crazy is that?
It's great. And unlike expensive big brand shades, Blenders are affordable while still offering the same cool factor. I mean, look at this, as other leading styles. And Blenders has more than sunglasses. They also offer prescription glasses, readers, and blue lights, as well as a snow collection with goggles and accessories. So live life in forward motion with Blenders today.
To score 15% off your Blenders purchase, visit blenderseyewear.com and enter promo code RAWVIP. That's blenderseyewear.com, code RAWVIP for 15% off. Blenders, rocked with pride worldwide. So let's talk about this, man. So yesterday, right here, Going on Raw, we talked about a report from Dave Meltzer that Roman Reigns had apparently signed a new deal with WWE that would see him work fewer dates. Well, it seems like that new contract may have already taken effect, because Meltzer is reporting on Monday night's Wrestling Observer Radio that Reigns isn't listed for any of WWE shows from late June till late August, with the exceptions of Money in the Bank, which is July 4th weekend, July 2nd, I believe, SummerSlam, which is usually late August.
This is July 30th. It's July 30th this year.
Oh, July 30th. Okay.
Yeah.
And a July 8th edition of SmackDown in Fort Worth, Texas. So with Reigns still advertised for two of the biggest pay-per-views of the year, will he really be off TV that entire stretch, Larson? You're shaking your head. No, explain.
This is what I'm. So apparently it's like 10 weeks that he was not advertised for any show. Now, this is what I'm thinking. This is just purely speculation on my part.
Good.
He's got this deal now that means he'll work less dates. So now, rather than advertising him for dates that they're unsure he's going to be at, they pull him from everything. Once they know what dates he'll be working, then they'll advertise him for those dates. I imagine this is a new thing. Maybe they're still working this out. If he's going to be at Money in the Bank, and if he's going to be at SummerSlam, he's going to be on TV to build those matches and promote those shows.
They got to do something.
He's not going to be off TV for 10 weeks, but showing up at Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
He'll be there to promote the shows and build his matches there.
Yeah.
Will he be there every week? Probably not. Is he be working house shows? Seems doubtful.
Yeah. I mean, look, Roman doesn't need to be there every week. Look, I'll be honest, man. I mean, we're going to talk about Raw here in a second. But Raw has a wealth of stories right now that have nothing to do with that title. I mean, yeah, Kevin Owens and Ezekiel doing their "you lied to me" thing you're really Elias's brother. You got Edge and AJ and Bullet Club and all that.
So I just got an email about a house show happening in Sacramento. This just popped in.
Nice.
And it says, for advertisement, who's going to be on the show? See Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. Plus, guess who?
Roman Reigns. What's the date on that?
July 9th.
July 9th. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, man, look. I don't know. You could be right in terms of like the specifics of his contract. They're trying to figure it out. I don't know where Dave is getting. What is this? Dave is reporting that he isn't listed for any of shows. Like listed for like, where is he getting that from? The list.
Yeah, I would imagine it's probably like on WWE.com their own listing of shows.
Yeah.
I would guess.
But it does sort of play into what we were talking about yesterday. He's got this new deal. He's going to have fewer dates. If you look back maybe at Brock Lesnar during that period of time when he was champion but didn't really show up that much, that might be the kind of situation we're looking at. And I'll be honest, as long as they can tell good stories, maybe think about elevating those titles, those other titles that they have. Although they don't seem interested in doing that, maybe elevate those titles if you want something else for people to fight over. They've got right now. They've got stories going without titles involved, and they're doing fine. What?
So I'm on WWE's event page. That's so weird.
What?
So on the date of this Sacramento house show, July 9th, there's apparently another house show, which isn't that huge of a deal, because I'm guessing they still run.
Are they advertising Reigns too?
No, but there's. Oh, this is a Raw show. The other one must be a SmackDown show. That would explain it. That was just weird. On that same date, they had that one show, but not the other one.
Remember they were doing like they'd be running like Monday Night Raw, and then they'd have like a SmackDown house show the same day, and like 30 people would attend.
Yeah, I know. Like 25 people would show up. I know.
Yeah.
So if you go to these events here on WWE.com.
Yeah.
And they have their own calendar. And for example, there's a house show in Utica, New York on July 24th. So you hit event details, and it's a Raw show. So you have the banner here on top, and underneath there you have featured superstars. And there's Cody, there's Drew, there's Bianca, there's Riddle, there's Orton, and Becky.
Yeah.
I guess the assumption would be those would be the performers that would be on the show. But if you go to a SmackDown one, I mean, in fact, I haven't really noticed any SmackDown. Oh, here's a SmackDown one. Here's Sasha. Yeah, there's no Roman listed here. Let me check earlier prior to his proposed hiatus to see if he actually shows up on any of these. Well, here's one from June 11th, and he's not on this one either. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out soon.
Oh, here's one. Here's one. He's on the banner. So this is on May 22nd. So there's one that apparently he's going to be on.
That's a little early. That's earlier in the time frame I think we're talking about.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find one that had him on it.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Look, he's a big deal. He's got that unified championships. Brock did the same thing, and yeah, just tell some good stories. Those names you just read off. Cody's a big deal. Seth's a big deal. Becky's a big deal. Bianca's a big deal. Orton's huge. Riddle's huge now.
Yep.
It would not shock me to see a lot less of Roman Reigns, making him a bigger deal.
Totally.
That's normal. It's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. Because I mean, sometimes like when Vince is like desperate, they'll be like, oh, we need more. It's like, okay, now we're going to sign up Brock for a spell. And who knows, maybe Brock will be, coming back this summer for SummerSlam or something like that. So you'll get the figure, we're going to get Brock for a 6-week span leading up to SummerSlam. And he'll be, I don't know, taking on, I don't know who we got up here, Seth Rollins or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I think WWE thinks they've got plenty of weapons in their arsenal.
Oh, they do, especially on the Raw side of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's plenty of.
And these days, the Raw side of things, the SmackDown side of things, they're going to be doing this tag title unification. Let's talk about that really quick, man, because I thought that was pretty interesting. That RK Bro, they started off Raw last night, talking about Usos. You guys got this idea in our heads now. You're not running away from this. We're coming after you now.
Yeah, they're going to be on SmackDown on Friday.
To unify those titles. All this discussion about title unification RK Bro is the biggest thing that WWE has right now. They're like one of the most over act they have.
Oh, absolutely.
Tag title unification, whether the Usos coming away with it, RK Bro coming away with it, it seems like it's inevitable, right?
Yeah. I mean, it does now. Yeah, I guess it'll remains to be seen whether they advertise this match again.
Yeah, right.
See what actually happens this time.
I mean, if they advertise it the first time, because you had read that this was, the plan to advertise it and then pull it and change it.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, maybe that was like, hey, let's see what people think about this. Let's put it out there and see if there's some excitement for it. Maybe they put it out there and they liked what they heard, they liked what they saw, and they're like, okay, we're going to do this now. This is actually something that we're going to do. Maybe they were just preparing people for this, situation. I don't know, for the fans to put it out there, foreshadowing, whatever. But I kind of like that RK Bro at this point are like, hey, this was your idea, but we really like it.
I mean, to a degree, they should feel emboldened to do it because Riddle beat both the Usos in consecutive weeks,
Absolutely.
Or consecutive shows, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think they should feel pretty good about their chances to beat the Usos in a tag match.
Yeah. So we'll see if that happens at Hell in a Cell or if it happens at
SmackDown or Raw,
Money in the Bank.
Like
that. Yeah, that's got to be a pay-per-view match right there.
You'd think so. Well, I mean, if they have the match and then there's some weird finish or something, I would be surprised they'd have that to have the match to try to get some ratings for a show, but then just have a wonk finish, DQ finish.
Speaking of wonk finishes and DQ finishes, let's talk about Raw last night, Larson. The remainder of Raw saw 3 high-profile DQ finishes. First up, Cody Rhodes challenging Theory, even though the bunch of the commentators kept on calling him Austin Theory. They have a hard time.
Austin Theory. I was typing Austin Theory before I stopped.
It flows so well. Austin Theory.
I know.
They really need to bring the Austin back.
They really should, but it's his real first name, so they won't.
Yeah. Cody Rhodes challenging Theory for the U.S. title last night. You sort of saw this coming, even though I was thinking to myself, so there's like an 80% chance Seth Rollins is going to interfere with this match and wonk it. But there's a 20% chance they're like really high on Cody and the amazing response that he's getting because the people love Cody.
They do love Cody.
Maybe they're going to do this. Maybe they just put that title on Theory to say, hey, he's the youngest WWE champion of whatever in recent memory, and then they're going to take the title back off him. No, that 20% botch did not happen. Seth Rollins, who, regardless if Cody is done with him, Seth is not, gave him a big old stomp on that table, leading certainly to Hell in a Cell, right?
Yeah, it would. Yeah, you would think so.
This is going to be in the actual, not just at Hell in a Cell, in Hell in a Cell, because they always have to qualify it.
You do. Yeah. In, not at. It's different.
Yeah.
There was a couple other DQ finishes. Main event between Bianca Belair and Asuka, and then Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. Edge with his new haircut speared Finn Balor to cost the match, to cost Damian Priest the match. That didn't really seem to be the point. The point was seemingly to beat the hell out of Finn Balor and AJ Styles. Yeah,
they don't really care about wins and losses as long as, Edge gets his wins. Doesn't matter to Priest. But also, apparently, if you're tired of signing autographs for the fans and then seeing them end up on eBay, join the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day.
Yeah, what? Yeah, that I texted you last night. I don't know why that like gets on my OCD or something. The Judgment Day. Because when you say the phrase Judgment Day, I can't think of any other situation where you'd put a definite article before it.
Well, it's the definitive. It's not just a judgment. It's not any Judgment Day.
I know.
It's the Judgment Day.
Still, hey, here's Edge and his new faction, the Judgment Day. It doesn't sound right.
Well, I can hear Bruce and Vince. God damn it, pal. It's not just any old Judgment Day. It's the fucking Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a weird. I get you. It doesn't really trigger me all that much. I was amused when you texted me. I was like, oh, the gets you. And you're like, yeah, the gets me. I don't like it.
In this case, yeah, the definitely gets me.
It bugged me more that Edge's haircut is not match ready because whenever he does any action now, He's got a terrific head of hair. It's a head of hair anybody would die for.
I wish I had a half a good head of hair as he did.
Right?
Yeah.
So he gets in there, he gives a spear to Finn Balor, and then he gets up and he's got troll doll hair.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has to like pat it down. And now this is going to be a thing whenever he has a match. He's going to be incessantly patting his hair down.
So now after he's done this one, he's like, man, I got to put way more product in my hair now so it doesn't move.
He needs some Dapper Dan.
Is he a Dapper Dan man?
Or maybe he likes fop. I don't know.
Don't
one
know.
of the two. My dad
unless he uses something, he's going to be in a tight spot every match.
I think
trying to fix his hair.
in a tight spot. I think my dad used to use Dippity Doo. I think that's what he called it. Because, you know, he was in the Air Force, you know.
Yeah.
And so but he liked his hair long.
Yeah.
And so he would use Dippity Doo. He'd just slack it in there.
Yeah. See, I've never used pomade. Never used that.
Yeah, pomade. Yeah.
Use like gel and stuff, but not pomade. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be seeing that from Ed. Maybe Rhea Ripley can clue him into some stuff because her hair, it looks like, you know, Charlie McCarthy, the old ventriloquist doll.
Yeah.
Sort of just spackled down.
Yeah. Let's talk about a couple other story bits here. So we saw the return of Alexa Bliss to Monday Night Raw last night in a match, in a winning effort against Sonya Deville. So she's kind of gone
too, really quick.
It was quick. I guess the idea is Sonya was devastated after being stripped of her management position. And then, so she just got wrecked by Alexa Bliss. So it's like 90% her old gimmick.
Yeah.
Old music's back. Kind of the old ring gear to more or less.
What was her deal? They called her the
goddess.
The goddess, and they just recently trademarked that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like 90% there, except she still has Lily with her.
And then like the theme music it like starts off strong in the old one, but then it kind of dives into a little bit of the newer one, or like her more recent one. Yeah, dude, it's clear. It is clear that this is just sort of, they have no plans for her because they're like, okay, what is she going to be, the goddess, or are we going to tell a story about how she's going to get back to it? We don't know, but we want you back because you're kind of a draw. People love Alexa Bliss. I wonder, do you think the weird Alexa Bliss avatar having YouTube commenters, the weird Alexa stands in our comments, you know, like they're like Alexa Bliss, and they always say the same thing. It's like Alexa Bliss should be featured. Where's Alexa Bliss? This story's fine, but it needs more Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
Which is the weirdest fucking things.
So are we going to put Alexa in the thumbnail to see if that helps?
Yeah, that makes sense. Episode. We're going to do that. We're going to bait those people in. Are they going to be pleased by last night's events, or are they going to be, no, she should have been everywhere?
Well, they'll be pleased, but yet wanting more.
Okay, yeah.
Happy she's back at the same time.
Yeah.
More, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, because it's great to see her back. It'd be cool if there was like more of a story, immediate story building to her return. I know they did the therapist stuff months ago prior to Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
Which was February, 3 months ago. And then she hasn't been seen since.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool if there was a build to her return, but it's cool to see her back.
No, it's really cool to see her back. It's great to have her back. It would be nice if there was some story, but I get, you know, man, it's one of the problems with the sort of Bray Wyatt type character. You know, I don't know if she really ended up benefiting from that shit because they never know where to go with that stuff. They never know. Okay, we've got this supernatural guy. Now what's the long game for him? And they never know.
Yeah, they don't. It's a concept, not a character. Now let's speaking of something where seemingly they have no idea where they're going with it. Let's talk about Lacey Evans. She's apparently on Raw now. This is according to PW Insider. She had one of her promos on the show last night. PW Insider, she's on the Raw roster now. And also, she's a heel? According to PW Insider. Now, we were talking about yesterday, her appearance on SmackDown, where she had one of her promos, and it's all, you know, about her difficult upbringing, the challenges she faced and overcame, and all babyface stuff.
Super baby dude.
And
this
like literally
is the most baby face a person could be, Larson.
Yes. Last night, she closed her promo saying, I'm going to end the cycle that I had to deal with my whole life and focus on my family, myself, being a WWE superstar, being proud of who I am. And then like on SmackDown, though, after the promo, then the ring announcer says, hey, Lacey Evans is coming. like show her respect or something like that. I can't remember the exact version.
It was, Lacey Evans is about to make her entrance. She would like all of you to stand up and show your respect, which is a super heel thing to do.
It is. So I honestly don't understand it.
I don't
get it.
This is like, and I'm honestly not trying to be dramatic here. Is this the most ill-advised story beat since like Eugene, right? As ill-advised as that was. And it's funny because when they came out of her promo last night, Corey had a weird, he says that her story might be a bit sensational, but and I was like, sensational? Do you understand the definition of the word sensational? Like, this is as gritty and as grounded. You have pictures. She's talking about suffering from abuse, and you're going to position her as a bad guy?
I don't get it.
What kind of that is so far beyond the understanding of, like, it's weird. It is weird. Beyond weird.
Now, the only thing I think of is Vince really enjoyed her heel work before and saw these promos and was like, oh, this is good stuff, but she's such a good heel. Let's just have her be a heel.
Right. It's very, it's bad. It's very, it's just oblivious. You know, you tell somebody's story like this and it's like, this can't be suffering through a life of tragedy that is real cannot be the catalyst for a fictional character being a bad guy. Like that can fly in other forms of fiction, but this can't. It's and for them not to understand that is fucking weird. I mean, it's kind of not, because Vince is so detached from reality.
I know. Truly.
It's weird. But yeah, I mean, you think about it, it's like she's going after the title. You have, just by virtue of, you have two face champions now. She moves over to Raw, she can be facing Bianca Belair. Like, what are her promos going to be like?
I have no idea.
Where does she go from here if she's a bad guy?
I don't know.
This is going to be one of the weirder things to keep an eye on.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Because she was like crying during her promo last night.
I know. It was really emotional stuff.
I know. It was harrowing stuff. Like, I really, you feel for her. You know, like she said, her dad passed due to addiction before
2 days before WWE tryout.
Right. And then like
another family member OD'd the day of her NXT debut. Yeah.
In a parking lot at like the facility or something like that.
Or she said not far from
where
the match was happening. So,
man. Yeah, dude, I don't know, man. I think it's there's no way to tell her story without this being an inspirational babyface.
Yeah.
Look at everything she's overcome. But she's an asshole. Like, that's not a great message, man. For WWE, that's not a great message. It's like,
no.
I don't know. It's like, this is super cynical, but it's like, doesn't it feel like Vince has watched, like, I don't know, a documentary on, because here's the thing, like, when you look at I'm just throwing this out there. What was it? The serial killer, Ramirez, right? He had a messed up childhood, just beyond messed up, right? But in the WWE, you're not supposed to take a messed up childhood and then generate a bad guy out of that. If WWE, if they had any sort of, you know, creative savviness, they might be able to pull it off, but you don't want to do that. It's WWE, man. It's kids programming.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Don't want to do that.
Oh, goodness. Ready to pay some bills, Larson?
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to get into the details, the nitty-gritty of Raw in just a moment here. But first, let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, Upside. I got to tell you something, Larson. Man, every time I'm out getting gas or like grabbing some food at a restaurant, I'm noticing that everything is more expensive. This inflation business is really hitting me where it hurts. And man, does it hurt.
Yeah, I hear you, Steve, which is why I started using Upside when buying gas or dining out, because Upside gives me cash back on those purchases. Bought everything from gas, of course, to burritos. And with each purchase, I've gotten cash put back in my pocket. So in fact, later this week, I'm going to go buy more burritos with the cash back I got from buying burritos before. I've tried it. It really works, and it's great because it means I can get more burritos.
Yeah. Oh, more burritos equals better.
Yeah.
The great thing is, too, man, Upside is easy. You just download the app from the App Store or Google Play, claim an offer on whatever you're buying, check in, pay as you normally would with a debit or credit card, and bang, you get paid. You can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands.
And you can earn 3 times more cash back with Upside in comparison to credit card rewards or loyalty programs. So download the free Upside app and use promo code RAW to get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more using promo code RAW. Before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, First Person. Steve, I think a lot of us wouldn't mind turning back the clock.
Ooh.
For some, it might be for vanity, for others to relive their glory days. But for me, I just want to wake up in the morning and feel rested and energized for the day like I did when I was younger, rather than feeling tired and anxious.
Oh, wow.
And grumpy like I do now.
Wow. Well, Larson, I'm happy you mentioned that, man. Because with First Person, you could take a more active role in your brain's overall health. First Person uses the brain-boosting medicinal benefits of mushrooms to activate the full potential of human cognition and brain health.
I like the prospect of unlocking Larson's full potential. Tell me more so I may become Prime Larson, Steve. Tell me more.
Sure, man. First Person supplements are made with functional mushrooms that look to stimulate the body's natural production of specific neurotransmitters that trigger activities like energy, mood, and sleep. That's right. Sleep, Larson. Their Moonlight supplement aims to help you get better sleep.
Oh, better sleep sounds great. So start improving your brain health and cognition with First Person. Get 15% off your first order by going to getfirstperson.com and use code RAW. That's GETFIRSTPERSON.com, code RAW for 15% off your first order. Getfirstperson.com, code RAW.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. All right, man. Raw started off with an RK Bro promo. Of course, they're super over. Orton welcomes.
They are maybe most over.
Yeah, he says, unfortunately, Orton says, unfortunately lost at Backlash. Before all this is said and done, we're going to win the war. It was the Usos' idea to have tag team title unification, but that didn't happen because Roman tore up the contract because he knows that the Usos can't hold the candle to us. He says, now we're thinking we want those SmackDown titles. We want to unify the tag titles and become undisputed tag champions. And Riddle says, now that it seems like Roman makes all the decisions for the Usos, we're going to go to SmackDown and demand title unification. And if Roman says no, it shows he has no confidence in his cousins. And then he gets interrupted by the Street Profits. And they basically say, you know what? You ain't got to worry about the bloodline. You got to worry about us. And he says, we're here to remind you guys that we got next. And it's us who are going to unify the tag titles. Dawkins said, we heard you talk smack. And you guys never brought up the Street Profits. And in a couple minutes, it's going to be us versus you for the tag titles. And Ford says, we want the smoke. And then Riddle has his own King of the Ring 96 moment. And he says, if you guys want the smoke, RK Bro 420 says, we just smoked your asses. And the crowd
I think that's what the t-shirt says. That's what the t-shirt says. That popped Orton huge. He was really happy about that.
Oh, he loves that shit, man, because he knows when he's happy, people buy those shirts.
Exactly. They might sold a few more shirts last night. Fun match. RK Bro got the win. Finish was awesome. So Ford hits Riddle with an insecure. He goes up top. He's looking for a frog splash. Maybe at the last possible second, he could have done it. Riddle stands up, bang, RKO.
Yeah, that was
if he'd
awesome.
waited any longer, Ford would have been on the mat already.
It was within milliseconds, the margin of error here. And I love the camera immediately goes to Orton, and you can tell he was like, oh shit, that was close. But he hit it. He hit it in the moment. That's great.
He did hit it. Let's talk about this. So they seemingly they went to the airport in Hartford, Connecticut, one of the old type of airports where rather than the tunnel you walk down to get to the plane, they got the stairs that you wheel up to the door of the plane and you enter the plane that way. So they brought one of those essentially on the stage on Raw. Yeah. So Kevin Patrick's up there. He introduces an interview with Theory. So you have the stage, and off the stage left. Is it stage left? Is it how you're looking at the stage, or if you're on the stage looking to the audience? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Left side of the stage, if you're looking at the stage, there's these stairs. So Austin Theory comes out. walks up the steps. I don't know. If they're going to go back to this, it's going to take a while to get used to. I know they used to do interviews like this all the time, you know, where the interviews were like Mean Gene interview someone out in the crowd and the crowd would be behind them. The stairs there were a distraction for me, but whatever.
This is clearly just one of Vince's weird things. He was probably watching an old pay-per-view. Was like, we should do this again. I'll be honest. I liked it. I thought it felt bigger. I thought Theory looked really good here. So I mean,
for me, it's a small thing. It's like I don't want to see the stairs popping out into the stage.
Oh, okay, yeah. It looks pedestrian. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah,
like if that's going to happen, have Theory come out and have him just poof appear.
I didn't really notice all that. I was like, oh, this is different. No, I kind of dug it. I like it better than just having like a bunch of like, you know, fucking moving crates behind you backstage doing one of these.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, the visual of them with the crowd behind them and stuff is cool.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
it's like the little pedestrian stuff to me is it's like, okay, well,
nothing beats the moving throne that Edge and Priest used. That cracks.
Talk about pedestrian.
That is the most pedestrian shit. That I loved that so much because it was so bad. But I do love Edge's Tron, the new Tron.
It's great.
They frame it with the wings is fucking amazing. It is
the presentation. The presentation for the Judgment Day is really good.
The presentation is the greatest.
So anyways, Theory is just talking about his match against Cody tonight for the U.S. title, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't really have to prepare. I'm already great, youngest U.S. champ. I'm just scratching the surface." He pretty much calls Cody old because the last time Cody was here, I was practically in diapers.
Which is weird to think that when he was like, you know, he is 25 right now, 23.
Yeah, it was only 6 years ago that Cody was.
Yeah, so when he was turning into an adult, he was wearing a diaper, which I know some people have to do, and that's fine, but didn't realize that would be Theory.
Yeah. Anyways, he says he's the future essentially. Then we get Judgment Day. They come to the ring. Ed starts talking. And pretty much he's talking crap about all the fans who sit there and talk about their morals and then go home and like tweet mean things to him.
It's so long. It's so dumb. It's so pedestrian. I know we use that word a lot, but it's a great word. And then, poor Rhea gets on the mic because the Priest puts her over. And she's like, I got tired of little kids getting my autograph and then I see it on eBay the next day. And I'm like, just don't go on eBay.
I know, exactly.
Who goes on eBay anymore anyways?
I know.
I want an old comic book collection that's been peed on. I'm going to get on eBay.
Just don't go on eBay. Done. You don't have to worry about it.
I hate going on Craigslist and seeing, it's my fucking McDonald's cup on there.
Yeah, your Dream Team 92.
Right.
Commemorative cup, yes. So anyways, Edge at the end of this promo insinuates that they're looking to expand their ranks. They're recruiting for more members.
Yeah.
And then Liv Morgan comes out, interrupts because she has a match with Rhea next.
Oh, yeah, and Rhea had called out Liv Morgan, too. She's like, I've got some business that I need to take care of. Yeah. So, that match happened next. And Rhea friggin' kind of annihilates fucking Liv.
Yeah, she destroyed Liv. Yeah. Locked on a reverse cloverleaf. Liv taps. Edge and Damian Priest get in the ring, and Edge just kind of nods at Rhea, and she puts Cloverleaf back on Liv, and then Finn and AJ take their sweet time.
Oh, forever.
Getting to that ring.
Bullet Club on our time.
I know.
Yeah, but Finn looked really jazzed to be with AJ.
I mean, it's something for him to do. I imagine that's
oh, yeah, he's super happy. Yeah.
Then we got Finn versus Damian Priest next.
Damian Priest.
Priest was dominating early, and then Finn started getting his stuff in. Finn clotheslines Priest to the floor. He's looking for a tope over the top rope. Rhea stands in front of Priest, so Finn puts the brakes on, and then bang, Edge hits Finn with a spear. So Finn wins by DQ. AJ gets the ring. He's fighting off Edge and Priest. Then Rhea gets in the ring. He turns around. And that's enough of a distraction for Edge to ram with the turnbuckle, and then Edge and Priest hit AJ with that spear leg sweep combo thing they've been doing.
Yep. Yeah, which is a cool combo. That's pretty neat. You know, a couple more reps, I'll have it down pat.
The timing down a little bit better. Yeah.
After that, we had Kevin Owens and Alpha Academy backstage. Gable said, he says, look, he passed the lie detector test, but here's the thing. I know people at the DNA lab. And that popped Kevin Owens. He says, the DNA lab? He was like, yeah. DNA lab. He says, I took a cup, the cup that Ezekiel drank from during the lie detector test. And next week, they're going to have evidence that he's lying. Kevin Owens, he said, I love it. I've got a special guest tonight. He says, every year in Nova Scotia, there's a tournament, and my brother Ken Owens has won it 3 times. And he's here tonight to compete against Elias. His name is Elias. He's like, Elias is done because my older brother is going to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. It was great. Yeah. Then we got the VIP lounge with MVP and Amos. MVP says, hey, everyone show Amos respect. I proved to the fans that I was right about what I was saying. I made the almighty. Lashley's ego got so large, and he didn't want to share the WrestleMania spotlight with me. He left me at home. But then he was interrupted by Cedric Alexander. And Cedric says, hey, I'm proud of you, Amos. And everything you said, MVP, has come true. But now, with your leadership, MVP, Amos's power and my technical expertise, we will smash anyone who steps in our way. And MVP's like, whoa.
What?
Who is this we?
What are you talking about?
And Cedric says, the 3 of us. He says, so far, Amos, I know you've done all the heavy lifting. And MVP interrupts, says, no. He's about to say something. Anyway, he's interrupted by Bobby Lashley. Lashley comes to the ring, and he destroys security. That spine buster he gave that one dude on the floor. Oh, my
God. He was
that dude
killing
like
those
6
dudes.
inches off the ground.
Those were rough, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so Cedric's looking for a splash off the apron. Lashley catches him, throws him to the barricade. And then Lashley steps up to Amos, clotheslines him out of the ring. He's about to go after MVP. Cedric gets in there, jumps on Lashley's back. Lashley flings him off. Eventually, he puts Cedric in the hurt lock as MVP and Amos walk up the ramp.
Yep. Poor Cedric. I feel so bad for him.
I
MVP,
know.
just let him be there. Just let him be there, MVP. My goodness. Cedric's great.
He is great.
I love him on the mic these days, too. His
me
voice
too.
is all hoarse and shit. It's so great.
Yeah, I know. Cedric's awesome.
He is great. After that, we had Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville backstage. Sonya says, Pearce, enough about this investigation. Whether I'm a competitor or WWE official, I do things by the book. So who am I facing tonight? And Pearce is like, look, Sonya, we need to have a conversation. She's like, no. Who am I facing? She's like, actually, you know what? I don't care. She says, for me, this is nothing personal. It's always just business. Walks off. So after that, Pearce, she's in the ring. Pearce comes to the ramp. Says, listen, you didn't let me say this. The formal investigation of your conduct has concluded. Management has found that you abuse your power, so your contract as a WWE official is terminated. I tried to tell you this earlier. You're still a WWE superstar, and I tried to tell you who your opponent is tonight. It's the returning Alexa Bliss. And Alexa Bliss sweaties are all like, oh, she's back. Now I can comment weird things about her in your YouTube comments. Anyways, Alexa Bliss ends up winning this with a twisted Bliss. Sonya Deville was not too happy about this. It was a pretty quick victory for the returning Alexa
It was
Bliss.
super quick. It was like 3 moves. Win.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Win. Then we got, it was supposed to be Ezekiel versus Ken Owens. So Kevin Owens walks out with a gray wig and like a frosted beard.
Yeah.
So Kevin Owens says, hey, if you're Ezekiel, if you're Elias' younger brother, then that makes me Kevin Owens' older brother. And then Zeke, straight face. Oh, hello, Ken.
Hi, Ken. It's good to meet you.
And that just frustrates Kevin Owens. Like, no, I'm trying to prove a point.
Yeah.
People don't believe that you're Ezekiel. The people in back are just playing along, and no one believes that you're Elias' younger brother. And then Kevin Owens pulls the crowd, and everyone believes that Ezekiel is Elias' younger brother. And it gets like a mixed response. Kevin Owens acts like everybody said yes. Mm-hmm. Says, well, did anybody here finish high school? You're all either idiots or liars. I hate liars. He tells Ezekiel to cut the crap. And Ezekiel says, lower your voice. I don't think your younger brother, Kevin Owens, would approve. And Kevin Owens says, Kevin would approve because he would talk like this too. It's like, I am Kevin. He takes the wig off. He says, I'm Kevin like, just like you're Yeah. I'm Zeke Kevin really just like it. I know. Yeah, he's really taken aback. He says, I'm Kevin just like you, Ezekiel, are Elias. And Ezekiel says, no, Elias, I'm not Elias, but I can say right now, it'd be a perfect time for Elias to come out and sing you a lullaby to calm you down. And then Kevin Owens attacks Ezekiel. Ezekiel turns the tables. Eventually, Alpha Academy runs out to make the save. Otis hits Ezekiel with a splash, and Kevin Owens follows with the stunner.
I'm still laughing over a couple weeks ago when Ciampa said, easy mistake to make. It's Ezekiel.
I know. Ezekiel.
I wish they would do a little bit more backstage stuff of other superstars selling Ezekiel, because that shit is really funny. Easy mistake to make.
It is pretty funny.
It's Ezekiel.
Easy mistake. Ezekiel.
That should be on a shirt. Easy mistake to make. That's Ezekiel. Oh man, because I think now they're selling one that photoshopped picture of Ezekiel and Elias next to each other. They're selling a shirt with that on it.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
After that, we had Asuka and Pierce backstage. Pierce tells Asuka she's more than deserving of a match against Bianca. Becky steps in, says, deserve is a funny word. She says, I'm the greatest Raw Women's Champion ever lived, and I haven't gotten a rematch, but Asuka's been back a week, and she hasn't done anything, and she gets handed a title shot. And Pierce says, Asuka has to beat Bianca tonight, then she'll earn a title shot. And Becky says, that's a weird concept, beating the champ to beat the champ. That doesn't make any sense, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Pierce says, Asuka's team got the win last week, and Becky shoots back, says, well, she didn't get the pin. Liv got the pin, not Asuka. Liv got the pin on Sonya. She said, did you orchestrate this whole thing, Pierce? Last time Asuka was champ, she's like, I handed it to you. I handed it to Asuka. And Becky says the deck is stacked against her. She says, I'll knock it down. Asuka starts yelling. She gets fed up because she's just standing there the whole time. She gets fed up, starts screaming. She says, I gave you the title to be a mom, but you're not acting like a mom. You're acting like a little baby. And she starts whining like a baby.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny stuff, man. At some point, I need to see this version of Becky and Asuka as a tag team. That's what I want to see. It when Becky turns face inevitably, but sticks with this character.
That'd be pretty great.
That's going to be a great tag team right there.
It will be. Then we got Veer Mahan taking on Frank Loman.
NWO Wardlow, man.
Yeah. So they gave Frank an interview. Asked by Byron, you have any concerns facing Veer? And Frank says, I have concerns heading into this match. I don't want to get carted out after getting decimated by Veer, but I have a wife and triplets at home who are expecting me to provide for them. So I have to do this for my family. And Frank got a little bit of his shit in. He got a couple moves in.
He did, yeah. He's a big dude.
He did. Veer, though, eventually drops him with the Fez press. That leads to the $1 million arm clothesline, cervical clutch to get the win. At least Frank didn't get another cervical clutch after the bell, though.
That's true. Maybe they, told Veer, hey, you're risking a DQ, a retroactive DQ.
Maybe. I miss when they used to do that.
Mm-hmm. After that, we had a Cody Rhodes interview at Gorilla. He says he's asked what's next between me and Seth. He says, I hope nothing. Seth's the top 5 in the world, but I walked away with the moment and the money and the victory. As far as I'm concerned, that chapter is closed. Theory is brimming with potential, but the thing about potential is it's like gold. You got to dig to find it. He says, so you better be ready to dig because nothing sounds better to me than the American Nightmare, new United States champ. Mm-hmm. So we had that match up next, and we had a lot of Theory getting his shit in, including mocking the Stardust gimmick. He did that. And then Cody mounts a comeback, hits a power slam, gets a 2 with that. A moonsault gets 2 with that. But eventually Cody hits a Cody cutter, and then Seth attacks Cody from behind. So Cody gets win, but it's via DQ. Seth slams Cody's head repeatedly on the announce table and then follows up with a vicious stomp on the announce table.
Then we got Sasha and Naomi taking on Doudrop and Nikki ASH. Doudrop and Nikki, not a cohesive team at all yet.
No, not at all.
So Doudrop is actually dominating pretty early. Eventually, Naomi gets the hot tag to Sasha. She's looking for a crossbody off the top rope. Doudrop catches her, hits a slam. But after the slam, Doudrop kind of goes back towards her corner. Nikki tags herself in. And for a while, she maintains the advantage, but then she's calling for the swinging neck breaker and just preening way too much. Doudrop's like, hey, tag me in. Nikki's like, no, I got this. So Sasha escapes the neck breaker, tags in Naomi. Sasha knocks Doudrop off the apron. Then her and Naomi hit their finish on Nikki to get the win. And afterwards, Doudrop gets in the ring and tells Nikki repeatedly, get your head in the game. You got to start taking this seriously. Taking this seriously.
I really wish that they would sort of re-gimmick Nikki ASH. Just take her back to Nikki Cross. She can still have a superhero thing, but maybe thematically turn it darker like Superman 3. Or just even the color scheme can be black and red like we saw Doudrop wearing last night. That'd be kind of cool. But they don't do that stuff. They just sort of, you just bring your gear and that's what you wear, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, after that, we had Mustafa Ali versus Ciampa. Have we gotten any? So Miz was a special guest ref here. It was great because as the other participants were leaving, Miz comes down and he's all dancing around being special guest ref. Has Ciampa said anything about what his motivations are?
And even commentary said that Ciampa hasn't said word one about why he attacked Mustafa Ali.
Okay, so he's just doing this to do it. Hopefully we get something out of Ciampa.
He's doing it because that's what creative told him to do.
Yeah, I know, because like he's just the pawn here in Miz's feud with Ali.
Yeah. Well, he's not really the pawn. I mean, for this match he is, but prior to this, he wasn't. He was like doing his own thing. Unless, like, on the QT, Miz had been paying Ciampa off to.
I'm just speaking sort of, behind the scenes. Like in creative, he's just sort of doing this, and it's benefiting the Miz. But the feud is Miz and Ali, and Ciampa's just sort of in there.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, that's sort of a bummer. So of course, Miz being special guest referee, he's just ignoring every single pin attempt that Ali does, running circles whenever there's a pin attempt, being the slowest to count everything. And, of course, in the end, when Ciampa scores a pinfall, it's with a really fast count.
Oh, it's like the fastest possible count.
Yeah, so kind of ridiculous. I mean, if you're Ali at this point, you realize that the odds are against you so severely. Just give Miz a big drop kick and take the DQL, I guess. I don't know.
Yep. Then we got Lacey Evans promo talking about her father ODing 2 days before her tryout, another family member ODing right before her first NXT match. Says right now she's living for her daughters, and she's learned to keep fighting to beat the cycle because life is worth living. And says the experiences I've had have created the woman I am today. They didn't do the tagline.
Right, the I'm not better than anybody, but they're not better than me thing.
They did not do that in this promo.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Somebody in chat earlier mentioned maybe Vince saw Joker, because that was kind of the thing about Jokers. He had like a shitty life, shitty upbringing, and then he turned into the Joker. After that, we had a Bobby Lashley promo. He's raging against Amos. He wants a cage match next week on Raw against Amos. Yeah. After that, we had some 24/7 shenanigans. R-Truth backstage with Dana and Tamina. He's there to serve papers to Reggie under the subterfuge of they're going on a double date. And Tamina says, yes, both of our marriages are duds. And then Reggie and Akira walk up with flowers, and R-Truth says, wow, you got these great limp flowers for your wife. Here's your papers. You've been served.
Yeah. And he tries to serve Tozawa, and Tozawa runs off.
And Tamina's like, hey, it's not legal until he's been served, until he accepts the papers. So it's pretty funny stuff.
It was pretty funny. Then we had our main event, Asuka versus Bianca Belair. Becky joins commentary. So this match, the bell rang with like 8 minutes to go in the show.
Yeah.
So you knew we weren't getting any sort of real finish.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
What we got was pretty fun, though.
Yeah, I mean, the 6 or 7 minutes we got was a lot of fun. I wish we could have got a whole match. So at one point, Asuka has an armbar on Bianca. Bianca powers out, slams Asuka, is going for her handspring moonsault. And while she's doing the handspring, Becky grabs her by the wrist, pulls her out of the ring, throws her in the ring steps. Of course, DQ finish. She gets in the ring, boots Asuka, hits a leg drop, manhandle slam.
Yep. Yeah. Let's go and answer some questions. I got a thread right here on the Patreon. If you want to help support Going In Raw, get some bonus content, and drop us a question if you can't make the show live on the Twitch. Got patreon.com/Steve and Larson. We got a bunch of reward tiers there. $20 a month. You get a comic book and a bunch of stickers.
Oh yeah, it's a story within the comic book that can only be told within a comic book. You try to make a movie out of the story, it costs way too much money, billions of dollars we're talking.
It's a full color comic book featuring the Going In Raw players circa 2016. I gotta update that one day. Put the Enforcer in there. I'll just shoehorn him in there somehow.
Oh, that's a great idea. Just put like an insert with the Enforcer in.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a 2-page insert.
Yeah. Day in the life of the Enforcer. It's just him sitting there watching hockey. Let's see here. Rob Conway guy says, you've just been given the ability to travel the multiverse. What professional wrestler would you find to bring back to our universe for a match against themselves?
That feels like you're going to mess with the space-time continuum. I don't want to do that. You could lead to the end of the universe pulling something like that. Doesn't seem worth it.
Roman Reigns. Because somebody's got to win that match. And the stipulation, it'd be an I Quit match because there's like no DQ or anything like that, you know?
All right. So Roman versus Roman.
Roman versus Roman would be my thing.
All right. Steve's plays a little more loosely with the space-time than I do, I guess.
I already opened up the portal. I brought one of me over here.
who knows what damage you've already wrought doing that.
Untold. Yeah, untold.
Raw is Cody. With what we've seen so far, what do you think the Hell in a Cell matches at Hell in a Cell will be? Seth and Cody, Edge and AJ, both possibilities.
Yeah, there's like the women's title stuff really doesn't seem like it. Bianca doesn't even have a challenger right now.
Mm-mm.
And Ronda, it's too early to tell for her, but there's no heat behind anything.
No, not enough to justify.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was Ronda and Charlotte again, maybe, but
yeah, right. Yeah,
Charlotte's gonna be off TV for a couple months.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Xavier Gray says, "Oh, this is interesting. Is Bianca going to be set to face Asuka and Becky Lynch in a triple threat match at Hell in a Cell?"
It's possible.
That's a possibility. That'd be a hell of a match.
Yeah, that'd be great. It'd be really good. Really, really good. Shane's birthday tweet: why do wrestlers do their whole entrance when making a save like
Rhea did that
Jeff
time, and then
Jeff Hardy did.
Jeff, Bullet Club last night. They got to get their shit in. Look, what's the number one thing you're in wrestling for if you're a wrestler? It's not to make friends.
It's to make money.
It's to make money. You got to get your shit in.
So part of it, I think, is we've seen a lot when wrestlers are doing something in the ring, someone else's music hits, they stop whatever they're doing.
Yeah, right.
Stop.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's enough. They hear the music, they see Finn come out, and they're going to stop what they're doing. So maybe just by their mere presence,
Finn knows. He's like, well,
the beatdown will come to an end. Yeah.
Hit the music, they'll stop because they got to prepare themselves for, my freaking roll of dimes coming at them. And then there you go.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Mountain Bike Jesus, after the Lacey Evans thing on SmackDown, do you think they're doing a Cody-like Homelander thing with her? Or are they just that clueless? I think they're just that clueless.
Yeah, they probably had one idea and then decided to change course.
Yeah. Luisa Reza says, will there be a weekly update on the Steven Larson Basketball League? It's the only wins I'm getting lately because I'm not getting that fucking big red. So, yeah, if you want it, I'm down to do that.
Sure. Give me one more week of preseason, starting not this week, the week after.
We're in the preseason? I've been racking up win after win after win.
Well, it's good. You should have the momentum going into the regular season.
Oh, I didn't. I thought we were in the regular season.
Oh, I didn't know we were going to start keeping track.
Oh, no. All right. One more week of preseason.
I was going to shoot around today.
Okay.
Ball was flat.
All right. Your jumper's flat, my friend.
I mean, I'm trying to rectify that. However, my ball says something. It says, no, not going to happen.
You got to get your ball in order, son. Let's see here. David Matushek, even though Alexa Bliss still has the doll, do you think her supernatural abilities are gone outright? It depends on what the writers think, and they don't know.
Now, if it's like a continuation of what she was doing prior to Elimination Chamber, I guess it makes sense. That was all about kind of getting that character out of her.
Yeah.
And having Lily there as a sense of comfort.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm guessing this is just a continuation. People in chat were saying that Lily sells a ton of merch, so Lily's not going anywhere.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's true. Anyways, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Thanks to our sponsors, Lumen, Blenders, Upside, and First Person, for hooking us up on the show.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be back tomorrow for our NXT review. So thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, we'll talk to you later. Remember, Larson.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonator Phil McDonald, here to tell you to go support Going In Raw and Friendo Club at patreon.com/Steven Larson. They got bonus episodes, ad-free audio, a weekly newsletter rounding up the week in wrestling news, and a bunch more. Patreon.com/Steven Larson. Go support or get hit with a stunner.